Hey, what's going on, guys? Sebastian here, and today I want to talk to you about identifying a winning product in your Facebook campaign. So the other day I saw this question on my Facebook group, and I think it's actually very important that you know about this because anyone can launch a campaign on Facebook and there are a ton of tutorials out there, but what happens after you launch the campaign is pretty much the most important part. So the part of optimization, of identifying winning products, reading the stats and scaling, that's extremely important for the success of your online store. So how do you identify a winning product? Now, really the first step for this is to have your columns in place. So when you go to Ads Manager, you will see all the data in there, neatly organized in columns. Okay, so but the default columns that Facebook gives you is just that columns they choose for everyone, for every single marketer that just gets started with their Ads Manager. But those are not the columns that you want to see because they don't give you all the data that you need to be able to make decisions for your e-commerce business. So depending on the business model that you are in and the objective of your Facebook campaigns, you will be utilizing different kinds of columns in your Ads Manager. So if you are doing a webinar registration campaign, you will be able to add a column of webinar registrations so that you can see how many people are registering to your webinar, things like that. In our case that we are doing e-commerce, we will have to set up the columns in a very particular way so that we get all the data. So if you really want to identify a winning product, you need to have the right data to be able to make that decision, to make that assumption. Not really assumption, like to be able to identify it, okay? So if you have the default data Facebook gives you, it's gonna be almost impossible to find a winning product. And actually, if you do find it, because you're just getting a ton of sales out of nowhere, it will be hard to scale it and understand why people are actually liking the product. If you don't know why people are liking the product, then in your future campaigns, you won't be able to replicate the process. So you'll find yourself just like blindfolded and launching a ton of campaigns, seeing if they work, if they don't work, it's just messed up. So first step, organizing the columns. Some of the metrics you need to have in your columns, pretty much in your Ads Manager, or some of the ones I have are CPM, which means how much you're paying for every 1,000 impressions. Now, this metric is important. It's not the most important, but it gives you an idea of how expensive are your ads and how much you are paying to get 1,000 impressions. So usually a good cost CPM is lower than $7, but don't take this as a rule of thumb, okay? Like if it's higher than $7, you don't make money. Don't take it as a rule of thumb. It can be higher than that and you can get amazing results. But what I've seen is that when you get started and you're testing products and you get lower than $7, $6, that's an amazing sign, okay? After that, I want to see how many view contents I have. A view content is when people come to your product page and they see the content. That's a view content. Okay, so when someone clicks on your ad, goes to your product page, a view content is triggered and a conversion happens, okay? Then after the view content, you want to have your add to carts. That's the next step of the funnel. People click the ad, they go to your store, to your product page and view the content. After that, they like it and they add to cart. The second conversion is triggered, okay? That column is very important as well. A third column I want to have is the purchase column. Purchase column is how many purchases you made. That's the last step of the funnel. So the first step is view content, people see your product page. The second step, people add the product to their cart. And the third step is that they actually buy your product. When someone buys, that conversion is triggered and appears in your Facebook Ads Manager. Another metric I want to have is a cost per purchase. A cost per purchase is how much you are paying Facebook to generate a sale. So if you're selling something for $20 and your cost per purchase is $20, you're not making any money because it costs you $20 to make a $20 sale, and after product costs and fees and employees and costs in general, you are in the red zone, meaning that you are losing money. So that's important. You want to see how much money you're paying to generate a sale. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So another column is the purchase conversion value. Purchase conversion value is pretty much how much revenue you made from the sale. So for example, if you made one purchase and you're selling that product for $20, your purchase conversion value should be $20. Now the purchase conversion value is going to start accumulating the total value of your sale. So if you got 5 sales for $5 each, your total purchase conversion value will be 25. Okay, so pretty much that's, in other words, the column that tells you how much money you made. Okay, after that I want to have the amount spent column. The amount spent column pretty much tells you how much money you spent. So in one ad set, let's say in ad set 1, if your purchase conversion value is $100 and your amount spent is 20, perfect, that's amazing. You have a product that's making 5 times the money. Okay. Another thing I want to have is the cost per unique click to link. Okay, so how pretty much your CPC, your cost per click to the link. Okay, so that's pretty much gives you an idea of how much you are paying per click to the link. So many people say, hey, CPC is not everything, the cost per click is not everything. Many people say, man, I love my cost per click, it's just amazing. I mean, it's so low. So here's the thing. Cost per click is not everything. Really what matters is how much money you spent versus how much money you made. You want to make money, right? A lot of people have 1 cent clicks and they brag about that and everything, but they're not making money because the traffic is not converting. A lot of people are clicking, but they are not buying. A lot of people say like, I have a $10 cost per click and I'm still profitable. Okay, perfect. Now, what I want you to know is that usually when you test products and they're new, if you have a cost per click that's lower than $1, a cost per unique click to link, that's a good sign. Okay, now I'm not saying that if it's higher, you won't make money. You could perfectly be paying $2 per click or $3, and you could be making money. But the thing is that if you get a lower cost per unique click to link, you will get more traffic. It means that people are clicking more on your ad because they're liking your product. In return, you get better results, okay? After that, you know, you can have the daily budget, things like that. But really, what I see the most is how much I spent versus how much I made. I take a look at the cost per purchase. I take a look at the view contents, add to cart and purchases, and the CPM. Those kind of metrics. So you can add a ton of metrics. I really look at how much I spent versus how much I made, and I take a look at the engagement. The engagement is extremely, extremely important. So how do you identify the winning products? First of all, okay, you gotta set up the columns the right way. Without that, you will never identify any winning product, okay? That's just something I've seen. It's impossible to optimize without seeing data. You're paying Facebook to get data in return. With that data, you analyze it, you take decisions, and you optimize to improve your ads. How do you identify a winning campaign? So let's dive even deeper. You want to see the engagement, of course. You want to see like, you know, when the comments, shares, and likes of your product, of your ad. So if you spend like $100 and you have like 50 likes, there's something wrong with that, because usually when you get a winning product or a good product in the beginning, you will start getting a ton of engagement. Like for example, 2 days ago, I started a campaign and I launched 6 campaigns with a bunch of ad sets each. And that product in the first day reached 1,000 likes and had low cost overall and was making 3 or 4 times the money. I clearly identified it as a good product. Now I'm still testing phase, low budgets and everything, but I have a clear idea that, man, there's something going on with this product. People are engaging, I'm making sales from day one, and I have low costs. Okay, that's pretty much how you break it down. You gotta identify how much money you're spending versus how much you're making. You gotta see the cost in overall and compare it with the other campaigns that you're testing. Obviously, if it's super low and you're making money and you see your ads has hundreds of shares, hundreds of likes, hundreds of comments since the beginning of the campaign in the early stages, man, you got something cooking. But for example, I don't want you to think that there are rules of thumb, okay? Because I really hate this when people say like, you gotta have 101 likes, if not, that's not a good product. Okay, so it doesn't work that way. Facebook is very dynamic, and what works for you might not work for me, and vice versa. So what you gotta do is you gotta test a lot of products, test a lot of audiences, identify and try to read the costs, compare them with campaigns that are not making sales, compare those with the ones that are making sales, and pretty much don't fall in love with products, guys. Okay, so there are gonna be products that simply are not engaging, they are not good, they're not making money. Don't try to force them to work. Okay, if you have a good audience research and a good product, it should be converting or at least have lower costs. So guys, that's pretty much how you identify a winning product, by taking a look at the costs, by taking a look at how much money you're spending versus how much money you're making, and taking a look at the engagement overall by reading the different metrics and by seeing the engagement of the ad. Guys, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe and like, thumbs up, comment below, and I will see you in the next episode.